What's going on, guys? Chris here. A little bit delayed. I thought I would have this out by Sunday, but it's now Tuesday. But either way, doing my first album review, which is the stoner doom band, I guess you could call them, Telekinetic Yeti, with Abominable. It's a two-man band. I didn't realize, I had no idea when I was listening to that there was only two guys. One guy just guitar and vocals, and another guy on drums. And I was really impressed, honestly. I'm not the biggest stoner metal kind of guy. There's a lot of doom bands that I enjoy, but I'm not a fan of like the whole playing one riff over and over again and doing that kind of thing. But I was really impressed by this. I've listened to it maybe about 10 or so times. Yeah, probably about 10 or so times. Mostly, or not mostly, but partially because of the review, but mostly because I actually really liked it a lot. Not really what I was expecting. It's not, when I was asked to check this out by my buddy, Austin, I didn't think that he knows what I like. So he thought that this was a little different than the traditional like stoner style music, and he told me that it might be up my alley, so I gave it a listen. I trusted him, and he was right. There's so many killer riffs on this thing. The riffs on here are incredible. One thing that surprised me, I listened to it on my walks, and I never really like sat down and like checked out the lyrics or anything like that, or so I kind of just listened to it front to back without seeing like when a track stopped and when it ended. There's only 3 songs on here that have any kind of vocals at all, which when I was listening, I guess I wasn't really paying much attention. I knew that there wasn't like a lot going on as far as vocals. They were very spread out, but I didn't realize quite how extreme it was with only 3 songs having vocals, which in a way impressed me because I don't know, like it wasn't boring. I never thought it was. The instrumentals on here somehow found a way to be interesting and like kept everything moving seamlessly. Like basically, I believe I want to say it's the first track, the third, and the fifth, which is the first track being Abominable, 3 Stone and Feathered, and 5 Light Bear. I believe those are if I'm not mistaken, the only 3 with vocals on here, and then there's 8 songs in total, so 5 without. The last 3 tracks kind of just like flow into each other. There's moments of like really subdued, like atmospheric type stuff where they really set the tone, and then they just bring it in and they build anticipation really well. I was very impressed. The vocals really reminded me, I wasn't expecting, usually stoner bands do not, that's usually, I guess, my biggest gripe. I don't know how to explain it. I just find that most stoner bands, the vocals don't really grip me. I don't know. But these ones were heavy. I wrote down that it reminded me of Mastodon. Like just the growly kind of heavy vocals. Like I just envisioned like a big fat guy with a beard singing this. If you can understand what I mean by that. Like that's how the vocal sounded to me. The guitar, it has that fuzzy type style with most stoner bands. I'm not the biggest fan of that sound, but they do it really well. It's like really, I don't know if they're down-tuned at all in the guitars or what they do, but it's very low, and it almost, there's no bass, I guess, from what I'm to understand. There's no bass on this album, but it sounds bassy. Which I guess maybe they down-tuned the guitars, or I don't know what they did, but it's heavy sounding, like really heavy bassy sounding. Yeah, it was really good. I believe, since like I said, I didn't really sit down with it and was, as I was listening, checking out what each track was. There's like a 6 or 7 minute instrumental. I believe it's Beneath the Black Sun that it slowly builds up, and then it just I don't know, and it's just done really well. I was very impressed, especially as someone who's not Like I said, this is not my go-to style of music at all. I thought this was a really good debut, and I didn't realize this was their debut, which is incredibly impressive. I don't know if they have been in other bands, if this is like a side project of members of a bigger band or not. I didn't, research anything. But yeah, for that to be a debut, if they're young guys or whatever, I don't know, or if they're very experienced, I was very impressed. It's not often that I find a stoner band that I would come back to like frequently, but I would find myself, I think, coming back to this album quite a bit. And like I said, I've listened to it quite a few times. And me being like I think vocals are usually like my first thing like that I grab onto. Like if I don't like the vocals, I really can't tune anything out. Like I can't tune those out and just listen to the music. If anything, it's the opposite. Like if I like the vocals on something, like a lot of black metal, like I don't like how lo-fi it can be at points, with some bands just taking that style to an ungodly level. If I like the vocals, I can stick around, but not the opposite. So I guess the vocals on here were awesome and not what I was expecting at all. Honestly, yeah, like if you're a fan of this genre and you haven't checked this out, I would really check this out. This was really good stuff. As someone who does not typically enjoy this style of music, I was thoroughly impressed and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I don't really know what else to say. Like I can't, like I said, the 3 tracks with the actual vocals in it, like I said, heavy, riffs all over the place, really cool riffs. The drum work is amazing. I don't want to use like the word progressive, but it's because that's such a broad term, but like the drums are just all over the place, but in a good way. It just, I don't know, it really keeps your attention. So like I said, I believe it's Abominable, Stone and Feathered, and Lightbearer. It's 1, 3, and 5. I'm pretty sure is the tracks with the vocals. And like I said, the last few almost just kind of flow right in together. So I don't think I could pick a favorite as far as the last 3. I think that last little half of the album or quarter of the album, however you would want to put it, is by far my favorite. And without a single piece of vocal at all, which, like I said, for someone who's mainly focused on vocals first, it's hard to keep me interested without any vocals going on. But they did such a good job. They don't make it boring. They didn't, just stay on the same riff for 20 minutes. Like I like some stuff by Sleep and bands like that, Electric Wizard, but sometimes it's just like on and on and on, and I have a hard time getting into it. So and I do like those 2 bands. I'm just using those as an example, because I only know stoner stuff on like I know like the big bands. It's just not a genre that I dive deep into because it's just not my go-to. So if you're into this kind of thing and you're a fan of stoner metal, or even if you're not, honestly, I would check this out. This is well worth the listen. I would imagine that they are an incredible live band. That's where my buddy, I believe it's where he picked this up. He saw them live. I can imagine them being like a crushing band live. I mean, the sound is just so immense, and for it to be only a 2-man band is amazing. So yeah, so that's Telekinetic Yeti's Abominable. Honestly, check them out. I don't think they've been around for a very long time. I should have looked up when this album came out. I don't see a year on it. And it's not even a booklet, it's just a piece of like a sleeve right there. So yeah, if you haven't heard of them, because I believe that they're fairly new, I would check them out right away. You would not be disappointed. I believe this is self-released. I don't think this is on a label. Yeah, check this out. I would, out of, not to be like the typical cliche out of 10 type of deal, but I would say out of 10, I would say this is a solid 7.5, 8. This is some really good stuff. Like I said, not my thing, not my go-to. but I would find myself, and I believe I would be coming back to this again and again. This is a standout in the genre for me, personally. Yeah, check it out. I would imagine they're on Bandcamp or something. I would have every, underground band is on there. I would have to imagine they must have one. If they do, I'll try to link it in the description if I remember to. And yeah, I don't know. Just check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I just say, whatever, Bandcamp, because I like to support the bands directly. Yeah, check them out. Let me know what you guys think if you check it out. That's all I got for you. Until next time, see you later.